So hello everyone, this is the Promo Tours channel. Today we're starting to assemble the MAN T2866LF31 engine. So this engine was removed from a vehicle like this. So the disassembly of this engine is on my channel. The link is in the description below this video. For now, I'm starting to repair the cylinder heads. The engine block is still being machined. As you can see, my workbench is empty. The customer came for repairs and brought another engine with him. That means I disassembled two engines. I also took apart the gearbox for repair. And in general, the customer ran into some financial problems. That's why we're doing the minimum repairs. I've already finished the gearbox. There are no new parts for the gearbox. I just took it apart, cleaned everything, checked it and put it back together. The engine will also get minimal repairs. For example, we're keeping the old sleeves, the old bearings, and so on. We're also keeping the old valves. So basically it's not a full overhaul. It'll just be a repaired engine. I think it'll run for a while longer. So here's what I've already done to the cylinder heads. I took them apart. I washed them clean. Cleaned everything completely, and they were taken to a surface grinding machine. As you can see, they've already been machined. So I've also cleaned the valves already. TN about the valves. So the intake ones stay as they are. The intake ones are in this condition. I've marked them. For example, number 1 is at the bottom. That means the lower valve. Number 1 at the top. That's our upper valve. And the exhaust valves will have to have their working surface machined. As you can see, there are pits like this. That's the kind of wear we have. So I'll machine all the exhaust valves, all 12 of them, then I'll lap them. I'm not sure about the seats yet. I'll take a look at them. Maybe I'll also recut the seats, or I'll just clean them up. We'll see as we go. Also, we'll be replacing the valve stem seal. And that's basically it. We'll leave the guides as they are. See, there's a slight play in the exhaust ones. The exhaust ones are still in perfect condition, so for now I'm assembling the cylinder heads. I still have some cleaning to do. There's a lot that needs to be washed. And in a few days the block will be coming to me. And then we'll start assembling. That's it. So that's the work we've got ahead of us. Let's go. So the cylinder heads are ready, the valves are lapped. I didn't have any valve stem seals, so for now I put them away on the shelf. Everything is already prepared here. Springs, keepers, retainers and so on. So the valve stem seals have already arrived. All that's left is to assemble the cylinder heads, but we'll do that a bit later. The engine block has already come back to me from the machine shop. The main bearing saddles were machined. The cylinder head mating surface was machined. Also, the seating surfaces for the liners were machined as well. Basically, everything is standard. So, here they took 25/100ths of the block's cylinder head mating surface. Well, and the liners were all leveled to 0. So as I understand it, the liners should fit without adjustment rings. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll definitely measure the liner protrusion. My block is already fully prepared. When it came back from the machine shop, I washed it again. I blew it out everywhere, opened up the oil passages. I cleaned the oil jets, washed everything everywhere, blew it out. Cleaned it. So I already cleaned it with a wire brush. I chased the threads everywhere. Absolutely every single one, every whole key. Chased all the threads throughout the whole block. So my block is now fully prepared for assembly. I've already reinstalled the oil channel plugs. I've also reinstalled the oil jets. So that's it. The block is fully prepared. I've also already prepared the crankshaft. The crankshaft here is just perfect. I polished it, also blew out the oil passages. So the crankshaft is ready for installation. Here I have the timing gear, which goes on when the crankshaft and camshaft are installed. They are also in perfect condition. The lifters are reinforced and the pistons remain the old ones. As for the pistons, the work done was cleaning them from carbon deposits, cleaning the grooves and washing and cleaning them. That means on a lathe. I removed 25 to 30/100ths from the piston crown by the same amount at the block cylinder head mating surface was machined. I always remove the same amount from the piston crown. It's the same measurement. So these are our main bearing caps. You can see how everything is machined perfectly. First they grind them, set them lower, and then they maintain the diameter and machine all the bearing seats. We're keeping the old sleeves and we're keeping the old bearings. This is probably the first repair like this on my channel where the old sleeves and old bearings are kept. Well, you could say these are consumables that really need to be replaced. But like I already said about the transmission, we have a situation there. The client is having money problems, financial issues, and as for the engine, we're ending up with this kind of partial repair. So I also cleaned the sleeves, the seating area here. I cleaned the groove for the seals, removed the carbon buildup, blew them out, basically washed them, and also washed the bearings in the washer. Well, now I'll wipe them down with a cloth. Basically, they're already ready for installation. So about the condition of the sleeves, there's already some wear on them. You can probably even see this ridge on camera. It's easily felt with your finger. The sleeves are about a 3 out of 5, maybe a little better, and the bearings are in about the same condition. So obviously the engine will still run for some time, but this has nothing to do with a major overhaul. This is just an engine repair to keep it in working condition so the customer can use it for a while longer. So someone might ask why we needed to take the block in for machining. Since so much machine work was done and so much money was spent, Ikis, they might say we could have just bought new sleeves and new bearings, sold them as is. So at first, this repair started out as a standard overhaul, meaning we were doing the whole job as usual. This had already been set in motion, meaning the machine shop was already working on it. Also, we have bushings installed and machined on the connecting rods, so all of this had already been started. Well, later the customer ran into financial difficulties. So in the end, it was decided to assemble it as is. What we managed to do, we did, and what we didn't manage stays as it is. Like I said, different situations happen, and apparently this happens too. That's it. Let's get started. To be continued with the assembly. Right now, the first thing I'm doing is installing the lifters and the camshaft. Here, I immediately install the compressor drive gear, and then I set the block in a vertical position. I'm installing the sleeves for now without the rubber seals, measuring how much they stick out above the cylinder block. If everything is fine, then I install the seals and put in the sleeves. That's what we do. Basically, everything is ready for me now. The connecting rods are ready, the pistons are ready, and the crankshaft is prepared. In general, I don't know, but basically, the work should go quickly now. Install the crankshaft, then install the pistons and close the front and rear covers. Also, I'll say that the camshaft bushings will remain the old ones, so I'm not replacing anything right now. I'm just installing the lifters, lubricating the bushings with assembly paste, and installing the camshaft. That's it. So that's the scope of work we have. Let's get started. Alright, so I've installed the sleeves. Tightened one sleeve. Let's check the block is at 0. The sleeve is at 10, 0, 10. Let's check from the opposite side. The block is at 0. The sleeve is at 10. And I checked all the others as well. The block is at 0. The sleeve is at 11 because it's not tightened. Also, the block is at 1. The sleeve is at 11. Block 1. The sleeve, well, 12. Block 1. Sleeve 11. Block 1. Sleeve 11. The protrusion of the sleeves above the block is 1.10, which is the upper limit, and that's very good. You could even say excellent. I'm taking out the sleeves, installing the rubber rings, and then putting the sleeves back into the block. So the rubber rings we're using are Erling, specifically for MAN. They're a bit thicker than the Mercedes ones. We unpack them and install them. crankshaft is installed and tightened. Next, I'll be working on the pistons. As I showed before, I've washed, cleaned and machined them. We're keeping the old bearings. I've also cleaned them. The piston rings are new and the connecting rods were with the machinists for replacement and machining of the piston pin bushing. Here the bearing seats were measured. Everything is fine with the connecting rod bearings, no issues. I installed the intermediate plate and tightened it, also installed the pulley and tightened it. And now I will put the oil pan on and install the oil pump. The pump is old, the evacuation valve is old, and the gasket for the oil pan will also be old. Now I will clean it and install it with sealant. And I will also install the water pump now. The water pump is new and the thermostats are new. So someone might ask why a new water pump was bought if the old sleeves are still installed. Well, the pump was purchased a long time ago and the customer brought it with him. The pump, thermostats, and here are the gaskets. These were the customer's own spare parts, that's why. So I installed the pump, tightened it, and then I'm putting the oil pan on. Here I checked everything again. The numbers on the main bearing caps, the numbers on the connecting rod caps, and the connecting rod itself with its cap. I also checked how the oil nozzle fits into the notch on the piston. Well, in general, I looked over everything again, checked everything, blew it out with compressed air, prepared the oil pan and the gasket, and also washed the gasket since I'm reusing the old one. Now, I'm applying a thin layer of sealant here, and then we'll install the oil pan. Let's go.